Hey everyone, Blepnir here with another video on Wobbuffet, Dewgong, and Froslass Closer. So this is a really strong team because Dewgong is a very safe switch, as you're going to see here, especially in the remix meta, where it can't be threatened by Bastiodon and Stunfisk. So what I did here was that I did enough damage with Wobbuffet to threaten the Hypno and give them pressure to switch. So even though I had to eat those two Thunder Punches, I still pressured the Hypno to switch, and now I am free to take out this Obsidian with my Wobbuffet. And my Froslass doesn't have to see it. So Wobbuffet and Froslass both have fairly positive matchups with Hypno. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to get an energy advantage before they switch. I anticipate they're going to switch soon. We're also going to get taken out by Froslass. They do switch into a Clefable, and so I got a little worried here that I wasn't going to get to the second avalanche, but I did. And now I recognize that this Clefable is in range of a Mirror Coat. So that kills it. And now I also recognize that this Hypno is in range of a Mirror Coat. So even though it's the weakest move in the game, coming from one of the weakest Pokemon in the game, it's still able to take out the Hypno, doing resisted damage. Now we have Hypno into Cofagrigus. This is a bad matchup. So we safe swap into our Dewgong and throw the Icy Wind, and they shield. So already going a shield down, I'm not going to shield. They Night Slash, that doesn't do too much. I'm able to get to this extra Icy Wind, and you're going to see that we actually tie. So even though Primeape is a counter to Dewgong, we're still able to I'm still able to get them down a shield and tie. So that's a huge loss for Primeape, and really shows how overpowered Dewgong is as a safe swap. And so I'm in a pretty good position here because I can outpace this Cofagrigus to these Shadow Balls. And I make a mistake here. I should have thrown the Shadow Ball, but that's okay because I get some extra farm. And now the Nidoqueen's going to take me out. But I'm going to get to, I should get to 3 Mirror Coats. And I'm only going to need 2. So, pretty safe win there. Shadow Nidoqueen, a little bit too glassy to handle the Wobbly boy. So we're going to go Wobbuffet into Goodra. This is very ideal because we have double ice in the back, and Wobbuffet can also handle Goodra as long as it doesn't get the muddy water debuff. And now we're going to see another example where a counter for Dewgong is actually going to go down to Dewgong. And Dewgong's going to win this very safely too, as you're going to see. You know, the Qwilfish was just going straight neutral moves the whole time. I'm going straight resisted moves the whole time. But Qwilfish is just too glassy compared to Dewgong. Dewgong outbulks it. So Wobbuffet into Granbull, this is quite bad. So I go into Dewgong, and I met with a Registeel. I'm going to go for the Icy Wind first, and now I'm going to farm up all the way to the Water Pulse. This Water Pulse should get it into range where it can be farmed down by Wobbuffet. So now I'm going to try to farm all the way down, and these resisted Flash Cannons will not be doing too much to me. All the way down, farming. And now I actually I catch the move onto Froslass, which is not great because I have to shield, uh, and I don't even get that uh, extra ice powder snow. And this is going to be a tough matchup, but at least I figure I can outpace to the shadow balls, right? So I'm going to land a shadow ball. Hopefully they don't shield. That's good because now they're going to be in range of a return. But as you're going to see, I'm actually not going to go for the return, and that's a mistake because this mirror coat is not going to take out the bulky lantern. Mirror coat's such a terrible move. And then I also make another critical mistake here. I should not have thrown this mirror coat. Throwing this mirror coat, as you're going to see here, actually lost me that game. Because if I could have forced them to throw onto Wobbuffet, then I could have potentially farmed down with the Froslass. But allowing them to get in that charm really sealed my fate because I just died before I could do enough damage. So here we're going to see the Greedent versus Dewgong matchup. And I was very curious to see how this matchup would go. It turns out that Dewgong wins it by a lot. It's a battle of the safe switches here, and it turns out that Dewgong is the safer one, it would appear. Because I don't have to shield. I can farm all the way down, which is a huge win for me. And then I can Icy Wind this Froslass. And I'm going to go all the way to the Water Pulse, hit the Water Pulse, and now I'm going to put this Froslass down into a range where I can potentially counter or Powder Snow down. And I decide to go into Froslass and Powder Snow, recognizing that these Powder Snows are actually going to be doing more than counters. And they switch into Drapion, but I have an energy advantage. So this is pretty solid for me. I can spam out these avalanches. I recognize that I'm actually going to get outpaced. So I switch into Wobbuffet. And now I'm just going to go right up to the return. I throw the return. I could have baited because I expected him to shield here, and he did. But a bait would have been really risky because of that, because it resists the mirror coat. And so Froslass versus Froslass, I recognize that I can just Powder Snow all the way down. So I can shield this avalanche super safely because I know that they're not going to reach another avalanche. And I get off this avalanche and kill the Drapion. So super safe win there because I recognize that Froslass would win CMP over Drapion. And here's another Greedent. Greedents back to back. So once again, this matchup plays out exactly the same. Body Slam, I get off another Icy Wind, and now they're going to go for the Crunch for some reason. I don't know, maybe they want to lower my defense. But if so, they should have thrown the Crunch first. Because, yeah, it's just not going to do enough. Now, even if I lowered my defense, I think I would have been in a safe spot. And look how much energy I have. That's incredible. That's a huge win to get out of a match with that much energy. And then I recognize that both of my back two Pokemon are strong against Phalanx, so I switch out immediately. And then they switch into Pidgeot, which they're really not going to want to do. Their only win con here is going Brave Bird, and if they go Brave Bird, then I can take him out with Wobbuffet super easily. So they go Feather Dance, which puts them in an even worse spot because they're going to have to either throw the superpower and debuff themselves, they throw the Mega Horn, so that's a lot of energy gone to waste. And now I can take one Mega Horn, but I'm not going to. Sorry guys, you're not going to see the damage that a Mega Horn does to a Wobbuffet in this video, but I think it's around 60%. And then they see that the game's over, quit the match. Wobbuffet into Ariados. This is a negative matchup for Wobbuffet. Maybe I could have taken one lunge, but lunge would have done a lot. So I decided to bounce out of there, get a head start on my safe switch. And so now this dynamic punch is not going to take me out. They're going to have to go for another dynamic punch. And I get to my icy wind first, which is great. So now they're double debuffed. And so now I think that I make a mistake here. Yeah, I take the lunge here. I guess it's questionable whether I should have or not, but maybe it was a mistake because they're just going to get to another lunge. So I'm debuffed anyway. I guess that I would have been double debuffed, but Ariados is so squishy, I think that they're going to shield this anyway. They don't shield. So this is huge for me because I can just farm all the way down. They're just going to get to another resisted lunge. And I'm going to probably try and get out of here, if possible, to reset my debuff. And I let this go, which is a mistake because it's a Scald, and that's game over. So what I should have done is definitely just throw away my Wobbuffet there, because if I can keep my Froslass alive and have an energy advantage, I think I could have won that game. And so now we're going to see how Dewgong does against the Nidoqueen safe swap. This is another very safe matchup. As long as I match them in shields, I'm going to be able to win this very safely. I don't even farm up any extra energy. I just go straight for the Icy Wind because the Poison Jabs are just doing so much. And I try to get out of that matchup because I'm a little bit worried about energy on Surfetched. They go for the Night Slash, and I go for the Mirror Coat, and they're actually forced to shield. So that's definitely a downside of Surfetched, is that it's so glassy that even though Mirror Coat is one of the weakest moves thrown by the weakest Pokemon, they still have to shield. And then I have to shield the Splash Cannon. I go straight for the Shadow Ball, and they let it go. And then I get to this Avalanche right before they get to their next charge move. They let it go. So they're quite low now. I can farm them down. And if I can farm down this Registeel, I'll have so much energy that I'll be able to throw both of these Mirror Coats, but I'm not going to need to. I'm just going to need one. Throw the Mirror Coat and the